Well, for those of you that may have heard about the letters but have not heard the contents for yourself, I believe you are clearer now. I, for one, find the letter on the Secretary to the Government of the Federation very interesting. Now, in the letter, the presidency admits that an investigation was carried out and the SGF responded to the allegations made by the Senate. But nothing is said about that in the letter. Instead, the letter is concerned about issues of quorum, fair hearing, and why an interim report. Now, many Nigerians believe this appears to be ignoring the substance of the matter while concentrating on technicalities. Anyway, we're now waiting for the final report from the Senate and then the next development in this saga that some say may just define President Buhari's administration's fight against corruption. I'd like to know what you think and what you feel about this issue. You can reach out to us from any of the addresses on the screen. Now, to our next report, which is on the debate of the 2017 budget and a motion that has to do with the need to pull the Nigerian economy out of recession. As Nigerians continue to lament the hardship being faced in the current economic recession, lawmakers have called for more action on the part of the executive. Discussion on the issue commenced following a motion by Representative Gavel.
Concerned that the effects of this unstable economic climate include the continuous loss of jobs by Nigerians, which is inflicting pain and suffering on the old, the young, and even the rich.
The motion enjoyed the support of lawmakers across party lines.
But I think the executive will need to look out of the box. And we don't have to remain where we are, telling Nigerians the same thing, thinking a different thing will happen tomorrow.
SMEs that normally go to the microfinance banks to borrow money, at what rate are they going to borrow money in order to reduce the prices of items? It does not make any human sense.
The House resolved to set up an ad hoc committee on economic recession to monitor the policies and steps the executive is taking to arrest the situation. The committee has 3 months to complete its work. The House is also planning to have a sectorial debate on the matter. The focus remained on the economy when the House resumed the debate on the 2017 budget for the third allotted day.
Let's look at the issue of this diversification properly. It calls for the issue of non-mineral and mineral resources, be able to reduce this exclusive legislative list so that we avoid these continuous rituals which we come here to do on a yearly basis.
The debate also continued in the Senate. Eventually, the bill passed through second reading in both chambers.
The committees should be very vigilant on these areas. It was said many a times by different speakers on the issue of computers, cars, and some of these items that keep on repeating year in, year out. Those committees should please be very vigilant in this area to block leakages.
Now let's take you to our next report. A face-off between aviation authorities and an airline over an incident involving an Enugu-bound aircraft that had to return to Lagos Airport because the Enugu Airport was closed. The issue of safety in the Nigerian airspace is the focus of this meeting. It's an investigative hearing being conducted by the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation into an incident that occurred on the 22nd of December last year. An Air Peace flight going to Enugu was informed midway that the Enugu airport was closed.
We requested for extension on the same date and it was granted to us. We relied on this extension to release the flight. APK 7773 of 22nd of December clocks off at 21:50 in Lagos and was airborne at 22:14 Zulu. The departure message was passed to Enugu. The dispatcher then informed us at that moment that Enugu Tower was threatening to shut down the airport, and we insisted the tower should be advised. Aircraft was already en route.
These appeals did not help as the airport was eventually closed. The managing director of the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, however, says that the blame is that of Air Peace Airlines.
Air Peace Airline Flight APK 773 departed Lagos to Enugu at time 22:15 UTC, that's a 11:15 local time at night, after Enugu Tower had closed at 22:08 UTC, meaning 8 minutes past 11, Air Peace Airline could have forestalled this incident if the Air Peace Airline station manager Enugu had contacted NAMA, Enugu Airspace Manager, or the Air Traffic Control Manager to reopen the airport for APK 773 before resorting to diversion to Lagos.
The lawmakers had some questions and observations.
DG, you have to answer me directly on that particular angle where, at what point do you go a step further to make sure that Nigerians fly safely?
The committee says this investigation will continue as it intends to ensure that measures are put in place to check future incidents. In the House of Representatives this week, failure to obey court orders and acts of impunity by security officials caught the focus of lawmakers. Let's take that report.
It was one of the motions considered at the last plenary session of the week, a motion that highlights the need to impress upon the executive arm the importance of obeying court orders. The sponsor of the motion says in recent times some security agencies, such as the Department of State Services, have been flouting court orders.
Cognizant of the need to impress upon the executive arm of government the need to direct security agencies to obey court orders and operate within legal parameters,
the House resolved that the security agencies be directed to obey court orders, especially as it relates to bail and production of accused persons in court for trial. In a related development, the House also considered a motion on the need to check cases of persistent breach of fundamental human rights and acts of impunity by security agencies. Speaking of a recent arrest and detention of some lawyers, the lawmaker who sponsored the motion put forward this prayer.
The House resolves: 1. To request the Department of State Service, DSS, to immediately release Comrade Ugo Apuamaga, Emeka Idibia, Barrister Ikenga Ugochinyere, and Ejike Nwachukwu, who were arrested on 22nd December 2016 for allegedly planning a protest or charge them to court without further delay.